But speaking of sausage,
What?
my wife has graced us with a taste it. She saw these and immediately texted me and said, "Hey, you and the guys should try this. These are Oreo flavored or Coca-Cola flavored Oreos.
They're the yang to the yin of the beverage.
And
That's
I
true.
believe they also have popping candy in them.
What? So it makes them taste like they're fizzy?
If you had the Star Wars collab light side dark side Oreos, the little kyber crystal things, I believe it's like that. But so I figured, last time we had or Oreo flavored Coca-Cola, let's see how the other half lives. And these also are black and red, so they're fun.
It'll make your poo-poo look weird.
That smells like Diet Coke.
Like right off the whiff?
Like I barely cracked it open and it was Diet Coke. Grab one and I'll pass it the other way. You can smell the carbonation on it. Are you calling your shot?
If I hate it, I'll put them back. But if I like it, I want more. Because I'm snacky, and this is my podcast.
Yeah,
It does
About
smell
being snacky. This is Snackies
very
Make Snacks a lot.
cokey.
yeah. If you see on one side you have like your normal Oreo, and on the other side you have a red Coca-Cola. So let's 3, 2, 1 it, boys. Oh.
I like the flavor.
That's not bad.
I hate I crunched into a candy. It is popping candy. Mouth open to the microphone. Stop chewing. Stop chewing. Donnie can't.
Honestly, not bad. I don't know how I feel about the popping candy.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it. But
Yeah.
it's also interesting because
Well, Coke's fizzy. How else you gonna replicate fizzy on a cookie?
Yeah, I get it. It gives me a similar nose feeling, like that like back of the nose like tingle that Coke gives you, or like cold air feel. I'm kind of getting that, and then you get that fizzy. It's like Pop Rocks.
They get worse the more you eat them, though.
Yeah, I can imagine like
Cookie 1, pretty good. Cookie 2, still decent. Cookie 3, not that great.
is it like for Pop Rock reasons or just like taste in general?
Both. Cookie 4, probably not going to do a 5th.
here, I made it to cookie 2.
Okay, let me try a cookie too.
Because cookie 1 was like, oh wow, that's so different.
Yeah.
Cookie 2 was like, it was muted and dulled a little bit, so you couldn't really get anything special off of it. And then I would imagine cookie number 3 would just drive it further into my gums.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like cookie number 2 is a lot more just Oreo.
The cream kind of has the consistency of like that cinnamon roll glaze.
Oh, it's crackling good in the back of my teeth right
They
now.
all have different
Same.
ones. This one has like 2 Coke bottles. Yeah, this is definitely something that I would go to the pantry, eat 1 or 2 of, and set it down and walk away and do something else. This is not a...
It's not a seshable snack.
Yeah, this isn't like I'm going to eat these and like sit down and eat these. Because you want that distance between like flavor kind of things.
I wonder how it does in milk.
That would probably be interesting in milk.
Yeah,
That would
because
be
Oreos and milk is an elite combo.
Do you have milk? Do we have some in the Strip Mall studio?
Oh, the only thing Strip Mall Studio has is vanilla oat milk.
That's milk.
Yeah, maybe
and
we can do
chocolate milk.
Maybe we can do a part 2 or like a Patreon After Dark and do a little
A
do
little
thing.
Dunkarooski.
That'd be fantastic, actually.
Yeah, getting the Patreon shout out in the pre-show.
Pre-show has concluded. Let's get into it. Crack it open and call one with the boys. Boston Shazam. I'm gonna wash down that Coke Oreo with a Dr. Pepper Zero Pfeiffer.
I'm Otto. I just made a very the largest purchase of my life the other day, Cogdale.
And I'm tiny, and I don't enjoy the popping that's happening around my molars.
Yeah, it's like that deep throat popping now. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's kind of melted.
One
and
of them
it's just,
kind of hurt. It was on my dangly bit.
Yeah, I had one get me right beside my tonsil, and it like echoed in my eardrum. Oh, by the way, we are Nerded Through the Grapevine. We're the podcast where three best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And today we're coming at you to talk about a few different things. It's Spooktober season,
spoopy.
witches.
Yeah.
I
Witches and ghosts and shit.
Yep,
I am all about it. I'm all about it. I'm very excited for the month of October just because I lived a big portion of my life not only living that spook life, but I was getting into some really spooky, scary things to the point to where I had to stop doing so many spooky, scary things because there's a difference between this fictitious spooky stuff and then like the real life spiritual spooky stuff. Because then you're like, well, if I can't just shoo this away like a dog, if it follows me home. But I would have never thought about that of being the main issue growing up, though. Like demonic possession or fear of spiritual beings was not something that I had on my "I'm scared of" list growing up. Because to me, that stuff growing up was a lot less realistic than the less realistic stuff growing up. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some stuff that we got real scared of as a kid, and how does it hold up today? How do we feel about it today? And talk a little bit about what those things were that we were afraid of as kids. And whose idea was this? Who coined this idea?
I think this one was mine, and I have two episodes. Yeah, and also just
Right?
I had one left over that just popped behind my tooth. It scared the shit out of me. It scared the shit out of me.
That's why I've been running my tongue around my mouth.
Yeah, do a swish, like drink and swish. Are you? I thought I would like peek or something.
I was like, there's the ghost that he was trying to not bring.
But
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you know what I just did if you were watching us on the YouTube. So make sure you watch the YouTube so you can see that stupid pop rock about Kill Me.
Or on the $10 Patreon tier, because
is
now
true.
we're doing unedited video on there.
Ooh yeah. But for the month of October, we were like, hey, let's do some fun episodes. And
Yeah, we're doing a gradual dive into more spoopy things.
Right. We'll keep it a little secret. Maybe we'll tell the Patreon what we're gonna do. But
No, we won't.
Oh, we won't. Okay.
I like that.
They're going to find out like everybody else.
But first thing was like there was some stuff I watched as a kid that like wasn't supposed to be scary, but it terrified me to the core. And the first one that I thought of, this one maybe was supposed to be a little scary, but it rocked me a lot harder than it was meant to. The show Courage the Cowardly Dog was fantastic. I love it. It's as an adult, it's the best. But some of those episodes was scary, and there is one in particular that kept me up at night. Sometimes this was I can't sleep because I'm afraid this thing is going to come after me. There's an episode where there was a slab that from like ancient Egypt or something that Eustace got a hold of, and it's a cursed slab. And Eustace, being Eustace, did not want to give it back.
Like a stone slab?
Yes.
Okay.
Like a tablet. But so the Pharaoh's curse starts happening, and it's like normal curse stuff is kind of scary. But then they show the Pharaoh, and it is a CGI stiff, just being off in the distance. And it's just going, return the slab, and just doing that. And I remember watching this as a kid one time at night, and I couldn't sleep the entire night. I was worried that somehow a stone slab was going to come, and I'm going to get it mistaken, and I'm going to be cursed by the Pharaoh, and he's going to come chase me.
I mean, as a kid, watching things with like mummies and the curse, it was kind of like, what if I stumble on this one day? Like, what if the door to the basement of my house is, I don't know, like a mummy lair.
Right.
And I go down there and it's like ancient, and then I uncover something that I shouldn't, and now I'm cursed.
That was a big trope in like scaries. I think back in the 90s and early 2000s was just, here's miscellaneous situation with child. What is the worst thing that can happen to child? And a lot of times this was in like mainstream horror movies as well as your normal horror movie, like your scary kid stuff, like your Goosebumps and your this and your that. Like,
Dude, Goosebumps terrified me
Oh,
too
yeah,
as a kid.
like there are things that used to go on in movies.
Not the books, the movie.
That I feel like that's a good overarching thing that a lot of us could have an example of, like quicksand.
Oh,
Like,
God.
Yeah.
dude!
It was such a danger. I was worried it was going to be quicksand on the playground.
Like, yeah, like because you think to yourself, like, how many different spots are in these places, in these comics, in these cartoons, in these movies? How many of them is involving quicksand, and you're just constantly in fear that you're going to run into the quicksand.
Right? Or huge, like, tarantulas or something like that. And it's like, we live in Tennessee. You're worried that an Amazonian spider is going to come and, like, attack you.
Look, I didn't go into like sandboxes without a big stick for a long time because on the movies and the shows and stuff, they always had to have a big branch, and somehow that would magically get them out. So to test, the waters, as you will, you had to have a stick.
Yep.
Yep.
You know?
And also, if it's to try to more equally distribute your body weight, if you're going to try to get out of the
Dude, I was like
quicksand
6 or
pit.
7. I didn't know science.
Oh, I just learned that in the Boy Scouts.
Oh.
Because quicksand was in the Boy Scouts. Because
Yeah,
you had to learn
Dude,
about it. Because
the
it
Boy
was a
Scouts was a
problem.
blur.
And it's funny, as an adult, I've heard quicksand is usually only maybe a foot deep. Like, it's not very deep. And usually it's pretty, like, it's pretty intentional. If you know what's happening, like, you can get out of it.
And like, okay, the scenarios, the things that made me scared to go places in my house, like the movie The Boogeyman, to where there was literally a portal inside of the closet that the Boogeyman operated on in order to be able to get in and out of kids' closets. And the very first opening scene of that movie, because the only other movie that I'd seen that had come out around the time that involved scary things popping out of kids' closets happened to be Monsters, Inc. So I was thinking to self at the time, I was like, oh man, Monsters, Inc., this is going to be, it's what if it's just like a little darker take on it? I was okay with it. I was relatively older kid. And then the first scene of, no, it wasn't that. I'm sorry. Yes, it was Boogeyman. Sorry. My brain blurs with a lot of these. Dude, I've watched so many horror movies that are similar trope because for a second in my head, I had Darkness Falls going through my head. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that movie.
I have not.
Nope.
I was not a horror movie.
Is that a
kid.
vampire?
Darkness Falls is about a woman who is called the Tooth Fairy. And the Tooth Fairy will come if you have a tooth. you put it under your pillow, and she'll come and collect it. But you have to make sure you keep your head covered and your eyes closed, because if the Tooth Fairy catches you looking at you, then she'll kill you.
That's the same as the one with with the Rock.
What one was that?
Same premise.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
like a remake.
Yeah.
Didn't they do another one with Larry the Cable Guy?
Oh, they
Probably.
did. Yeah, Tooth Fairy too. But the thing that happened in Boogeyman, though, was the dad was asked to check the closet, typical dad thing. There's nothing in here. And the dad goes to check the closet, and he looks in there, and it's just kind of black, dark closet, and he looks around a little bit, and he's like, see, nothing in here. And then a mysterious force picks him up, turns him sideways, and folds his body in half, and then sucks him into the portal, and that's the way the movie opens.
Oh.
So I was like... because that within itself was enough to kind of like traumatize me, because as a little kid, like, I didn't want to see anything bad happen to my parents, because that was all I was always like an over anxious fear. And then the first bad thing that happens in the movie is the bad thing that happens to the dad, and then the same thing with Darkness Falls. The first bad thing you see happen in the movie are the mom getting murdered by this spirit because she's trying to, like, her daughter's like, there's something in there. No, I saw it. There's nothing in here. Murder.
See,
A murder.
There were 2 movies that made me just afraid to exist as a person. Okay, and they were both shown to me by my sisters.
Oh.
Because the sister of mine that was the closest to my age was 13 years older than me. So imagine me 4 to 5, and she's like 16, 17. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
And
she
the
probably
other
tormented
two,
you.
They all did, but
Like let's how
So-
can we scare Austin today?
yes. So in one day, they showed me both Tremors and Jaws. Okay.
Oh, Tremors messed me up.
Dude, Tremors is vicious.
That-
it has
that
so
scares
many
me today.
scenes of helplessness within
yeah,
it.
and see, Tremors made me terrified to walk around, okay? Jaws made me terrified to go lay in my bed because I had a water bed. What if there was a shark in it? That's how my little kid brain worked.
Oh,
Because
gosh.
the bed was the safe place for a bunch of things, I just got to put the blanket over my head and got to stick on my nose so I don't suffocate and die. Like, noses are immune if that's the only thing sticking out. But now I can't even go get in my safe zone where the demons can't get me because it's full of water and Jaws lives in water. Yeah, it made me
Oh my
afraid to
gosh.
just live.
Yeah, you just be laying on your water bed and you roll over a little bit and all of a sudden that wave crashes back and it feels like something brushes up against your leg.
Oh yeah, well, especially because mine was prone to getting holes. I don't know if it was just my irresponsibility as a child with sharp, pointy objects, or if my waterbed, because it was so old, was just a really shitty one. So there was always a giant air bubble. And so if you rolled too far, it felt like there was this big old long thing that you brushed
Oh,
up against.
gosh.
So that made me go, oh God, there he was. So
You
it was
were-
it was
you
a
were having
psychological horror.
Yeah, you had psychological warfare against yourself happening.
Yeah, you
Yeah, it was awful.
You had the entire scenario playing out of that Chucky doll actually popping out of that picture and then chasing you down the hallway.
Yeah, I mean that was another thing my sisters did. That one drove me to defecate outside,
Right.
on rose bushes.
Go
Well,
and dig your poo hole, poo.
There was
hole,
no poo hole. It was just a spot.
You just shat in the normal, just top of the ground, like there's where my baby boy went.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, see,
Lord.
my brain said, "Well, poop fertilizes." So if I'd poop on the rose bushes, Mom will never notice. She'll think it was just fertilizer because she would go out and throw fertilizer on them every now and then.
She wouldn't notice this
Yeah,
human
she would.
size
Yeah, exactly.
turd.
Yeah, that was my thought process.
Oh,
Because I
gosh.
was like, I'm gonna get in trouble, even though I don't know. My brain was all weird. It's like, do I die or do I get yelled at or do I try to hide it? So I tried to hide it.
Bless you, sweet prince. I'm
Yeah.
sorry you had to go
Yeah.
through that.
Oh my gosh.
My scares at my house, because did anybody else get scared by everybody at their house? Because it sounds like you were tormented and scared.
Dude, I was afraid of everything.
What
as
about
a
you?
child?
What about you? Were you
I was
tormented
an
and scared?
only child, so my dad was a common like prank scarer kind of, but I didn't have he didn't intentionally let's watch this to freak you out kind of thing.
Okay, I had scaring is the thing in my family that has been passed down through generations of males. The art of the scare has been passed down as well. I've not kept brushed up on it because it almost caused my wife to die a couple of times from sheer fright because I know her weakness. She wears glasses. I wait till she has to take them off and goes to the shower.
See, there's been 2 of those style pranks that I've pulled on you.
Yeah, and they hurt me.
They both just made me so happy.
They caused me physical discord.
They
There's
did.
a link in the description. If you want to get on there, you can get on the Backyard Bonanza with us. You can get on the meme channel with us and share some funky stuff. If you want to, you can even partake into some suggestions. If you want to suggest some things as far as reading materials or anything at all, we have a suggestion area. So hop on there. You can talk to us a little bit. Join the party. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, and irrevocably usurped.
Circumcised. you were doing real good, so I was letting you rock it out.
It just kind of all came out
We're
naturally.
also on YouTube.
That's true.
Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. You know the things, do the things.
It came out real natural and smooth just then. It must be all the probiotics and the water that I've been drinking recently.
Oh, is your
Nice.
biome returning to normalcy after the extinction event?
Oh man, after the extinction event, this is the most normal it's been. And actually, honestly, from the probiotics that I've been taking, with prebiotics, by the way, because that feeds the probiotics and it keeps them in full strength, I've been experiencing the most healthy feeling that I've been in a long time. My gut feels not upset over everything that I eat, and I don't have diarrhea all the time. And I'm just sad that Dane had to move away before he got to find out that what it was like for me to go to the bathroom without having just massive explosions. And the only reason he knows this is because he lived in the same house with me. And if you're in the same house, I'd have to close every door and towel for you to not be able to hear that. I closed the door to my bedroom one day because I'm like, this is going to be a big one, because Carly was still here and they were on the couch. And I closed the door to the bedroom. I went to the bathroom and I sat down and and I heard Dane from the living room go, just he was losing it because I mean, be honest, I mean we're all prone to thinking that shit's funny. Shit.
Yeah, I mean
it is.
As long as
it's just natural.
as long as nobody has shit near me, or on me, and as long as somebody hasn't doo-dooed and then brought it with them somewhere, I'm fine. Because it can get
I
too
don't know.
much.
I've sent you some videos before that you got kind of gaggy.
Well, oh god, not full blown poop videos. Like I saw a TikTok of a dog. That is my current horror, by the way, is poop in my mouth, and I don't know why. But it's probably,
oh god, that video you sent,
they're celebrating and they're tossing their dog up in the air and they're like, yeah, and the dog like let out a full
like
blown
a turd,
like a Lincoln log,
like a
directly
2-inch
down his throat, and then the person was cheering and it went slow mo from the point of the turd entering the mouth, and it showed the face go from just such excitement and they were celebrating to just sheer horror. And this should end immediately.
I would
Never
rather
again, no more.
Would rather delete my own save. That's the only way that you can process that happening
That's
to
pretty
you.
bad.
It's a like my time has been done. My ego and myself will never physically recover.
Imagine what it'd be like if it was Nola and she did one of her Nolas like that.
That would be awful.
Hold on, why'd I do that to myself?
Look,
Well, I
Nola,
mean, she has farted inside.
she has
you.
shit inside of me before. So I was pressurized with her turd smell.
You did. She did shit. She did fart right into
Yeah.
your sapap.
No, she took a dump right in the floor
It
where
marinated.
my CPAP sits on the nightstand. She dumped in the floor. It was the first day I had her in her defense. Well, y'all just thought it was a fart?
No, I couldn't remember. I just remember.
No. See, I farted in my own CPAP. That's why I only sleep facing it now. So I've had things pressurizing my sinus cavities that should never do that.
Oh god!
But I did see a short form video of two like dog groomers. One was like teaching the other one how to express the anal glands on a dog.
Oh, that comes out with some speed.
It did, and it ricocheted into her mouth off the side of the metal sink tub.
Oh,
Yeah, it ricocheted.
Can I need to unzip my skin and go put it in the dish.
Is it the word?
The wash? No, just
The whole thing.
I
gotta get it.
You can't do that.
What?
But no, my
Copyright.
my
sorry.
dog.
They'll make us pull the entire sound from the video.
My
Sorry, that's long enough. They won't get us.
my dog Solo. I love him to death, but he's a bulldog and has a very sensitive stomach.
He's
So-
also a short barrel.
Right.
They always have the worst smelling things.
Right. Oh no, he has farted so bad that I've had to turn the light on because I thought he dropped a turd in my bed. But he used to have to take Pepcid because he had acid reflux. If not, he would just burp up food, and it was really gross.
Ew.
But one time I was like, I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to switch to the off-brand Pepcid, like the Walmart brand. Same active ingredients. It should be fine. I woke up, and the smell in my room, I could not describe. It was the most, like, visceral shit smell that you could smell. And I finally worked up the courage to open my eyes and investigate what horror awaited me. And he had liquid shit in 4 different spots in my room. I had to bust
poor
out
guy.
the carpet clean. Oh, he felt terrible. I felt terrible for him because I knew it was an accident.
Now imagine that smell is pressurizing all of your breathing things open so you don't die in your sleep.
And I would imagine that the way that would smell I'm just gonna have to move past all this doo-doo talk.
And this has been the Nerded Through the Grapevine Shazam Shit Corner.
I hated it. It would probably smell much like the thing that used to scare me as a child. That as I look at now, I can understand why.
It's shit sector.
It was the Garbage Lady, which this is an old movie. You've probably never seen it, Otto. You've probably never seen it, Tiny. Just because
You might be surprised.
I might be surprised. It's a movie by Jim Henson. It has David Bowie in it. It's called Labyrinth.
Of course,
I've
everybody's
heard
seen
of it. I've
that.
never seen
That's
it.
the little blonde white girl movie.
What did Otto just say?
Oh,
He
sorry.
said it off mic just to try to escape
I've
his
heard
fate.
of it, but I've never seen it. No, I forgot my little vape today, and I didn't want to full on just chuck a cloud into the microphone and into the air.
The thing that used to scare me the most from this movie, and I had literal nightmares. Boys, I would be looking out my dining
Was
room.
it David Bowie's Picage?
No, I was looking out my dining room window, and I would see her walking down the sidewalk in front of my house. And this was I was like 5-6 years old. And so even though I see her walking down the road,
With those great blue eyes.
yeah, she actually does have blue eyes, but she looks like this.
Oh, it's like a testicle face.
Yeah.
Well,
pass.
it's the female version
I
of a
remember.
testicle
Hold on.
face.
Now
She
this
was in like the dump.
It was called the Garbage Lady.
Junk Lady is her name. And she was always carrying around that big
Yeah.
pile and pack of junk. Okay, so I would have dreams that she's walking down the sidewalk next to my house. And
I always thought she was kind of hot.
no, hell no, go to hell. The thing
That
is,
was
though,
a joke.
I would watch from room to room, from window to window, following her walking down. And the only thing that I'm feeling is, of course, I'm dreaming, so this is a nightmare, and I'm feeling just dread. Oh, you haven't felt dread before this hard. Hey, welcome to 6 years old. This is where it starts.
Here's a new emotion for you, buddy.
Here's dread, and dread made me fear her getting closer, and the closer she got, the stronger my dread was. And then she got to my front door, and then I was like, she can't get in the house, the front door's locked. And then she started jangling through her trash, and she pulled out some keys, and she unlocked my front door. And then she opened the
Oh my
front
gosh.
door, and I woke up screaming. Because she didn't get to open that door, I was out of there. I was out of there.
You ejected from the dream.
I did not know I didn't know how to dream the way I know how to dream now. But back in that raw form, I still had enough control to be like, "See ya," because I was not about. You got to say no to Diddy,
Right. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much.
You think the door's locked? He's got the keys. That puppet, that scared me so bad as a kid. But as an adult, the way that I feel about that Garbage Lady is she is disgusting. She is creepy, but she's not worth having a nightmare over. There are scarier things in this world than the Garbage Lady.
So one of the things that scared me the most as a younger man, through my early teens, I was still afraid of things that you probably shouldn't have been. Scary movies were not on the table for me. So my mom and the thing that she lived with was watching Dracula Dead and loving it. Okay, I'm 12 to 13. That movie horrified me because the scene that scared me the most was the scene where he's laying in bed and the two succubuses are there, and they're like, hey, we can do stuff. And then, I was horrified that some weird vampire big titty ladies was going to break into my bedroom, try to molest me, and then murder me. It was the scariest and most arousing movie scene that I had ever seen. And I've since went back actually this year and watched the movie, and I'm like, why did this movie scare me?
It was one of those that
Scare arousal is a thing.
you watch it, it's like, this is altering my brain chemistry in an irrevocable way that's not going to hit until I'm out into puberty.
Okay, and I mean, also it's understandable at that age to why you would be both afraid and turned on at the same time, because it's a confusing thing, because all of the women in the movie were all wearing that Victorian era getup that had the low cut, but it was exaggerated for comedy style. So it's super low cut, and everybody's got giant breasts, just shoved up to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, because, as a straight hetero cis man, I like the ladies,
Right.
And so it's like I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, but I'm also terrified of what I'm seeing because they're murdery. Also, they're vampires, and vampires are scary.
I watched something as a kid. It was like, have you ever been scared of something, but it's like you know that you're too old to be this scared, so you feel like you can't say anything?
Yeah, that was me in that situation.
Right. I had something like that with a History Channel or something alien documentary that I watched as a kid.
You'd be surprised how heavy some of them documentaries can hit.
I was like, oh gosh, I think I may have been 9 or 10. No, I was like 7 or 8. But like, I was at my Nana's house, and it was nighttime. We had a whole bunch of family, and I remember before I knew that I was autistic, I was outside with everyone, and all of a sudden I just felt the need to go inside. I was
So you
getting
like to
overstimulated.
You really had to get back into
I'm
your
sorry.
easel, and nobody knew.
Right. But I went back inside, and like this like alien documentary was on, and it was talking about how aliens could be among us and all these different things and all these like everything. And I remember like in horror thinking like, oh, I should go back outside. And I looked outside and it's dark. I'm like, but there could be aliens outside.
Right?
And I, for a solid while, I was a little bit afraid of the dark. And it's like, once you already knew, because like as a kid you were afraid of the dark, and then you get over it. But if you have a second round of afraid of the dark,
Oh yeah, the second round's the worst.
The second round of Afraid of the Dark happened to me whenever I was a kid through E.T.
oh,
E.T.
oh, that freaked me out as a kid. I remember seeing that,
And
like
it's not
one
even
of those scenes.
like after you get past that point in the very beginning of the movie where all you can hear is just his kind of guttural alien.
Oh God!
And just this darkness. Like all it is something's outside, guys. I think something's outside. What is it? It's over there in the garage. Let's shine a flashlight on it. Like no. No,
that scream scared me so much. Like that scene where the little girl finds him and like she jumps and then he does that scream and like goes at the camera. That terrified me as a kid. I could not stand it because also I didn't know his neck was just like going up. I thought his neck was extending, and it freaked me out the thought of that.
Yeah, it's and not only that. I mean, there's so many bad things in movies that happened in sheds. Like sheds are a trope for horror or for or even for slightly thriller stuff. If there's a shed, something bad's happened.
Right.
I don't know. I always saw sheds of more as like a cool like clubhouse hangout spot.
There were a lot of hornets
but
in
that
the
was
sheds
me.
around my house, so
Well,
they weren't fun.
That'd be
We also
different
didn't have a shed.
for that kind of shed. The kind of shed that I had growing up was just a metal shed outside that they kept the lawnmower and everything in. You open it up, it smelled like every gasoline that had ever been through it. And it also contained every known legged creature that you can think of the insect variety. At least I didn't open it up and find a deer or anything in there, but I've seen I saw black widows, and the thing is, spiders can be scary for spider purposes if they appear on you or if they appear in a place to where you can't avoid them. That's when they get scary to me. The things that are way scarier than that and that aren't even poisonous, that give me just the heebies and the jeebies, cave crickets.
Yeah,
Cave
I
crickets.
can see that.
Which are those?
Cave crickets are those big black
the big ones that get in your basement.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cave crickets.
They're
Those
all
things.
jumpy.
Those things are like jumpy, stabby pokies. They scare the hell out of me. I don't know why. Probably because they can't really hurt you, but if they do try to defend themselves, they vibrate very strongly, and their spikes can dig. That's something neat to know. Don't pick one up because you're like, oh, you're just a cricket. Oh, another reason to fear you. Great pain. So it's not poisonous. It's not going to hurt you, but it can make you go, owie, you son of a bitch. I should have just squished you instead of helping you outside.
That's how I feel about grasshoppers. Because, like, I know they're not going to bite me. But why the fuck do they have to jump at me all the time?
They like you.
Like,
Probably because those stupid ants unionized and they decided not to haul the grain anymore, so the grasshoppers are having to outsource to the giants.
and it's
Right.
like, I don't want to kill you, but if you jump at me while I'm trying to, do some gardening out on my back porch, I'm going to kill you.
I always have hummingbirds visit me when I'm doing gardening
That must be
outside.
nice. I
It
have
is-
I have a spider and a bunch of grasshoppers.
I had a possum the other day.
It must be to do with my natural connection to wind spirits. I don't know what it is about that, but I go outside. I get a little form of elevation, and the hummingbirds just appear. They always have done it, and they do it at every house I live at. And they did it at the rent house. And Dane was outside with me one day, and he's like, "Is that a hummingbird?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I think there's another one over here too." I said, "It was just flying around." He's like, "Do they really do this every time?" It's like, not every time, but I used to never see hummingbirds, and then hummingbirds just started coming and visiting me.
I feel like there's an omen in that.
Like I don't know what it is, but
if you're a
it's
friend with the wind, why doesn't it help you more in disc golf then?
Oh, dude, I didn't find out about this until recently. Something unlocked a childhood memory of mine, and it gave me like a real like weird on the couch like body vibration tingle. I don't know.
Were you elevated or on fungus?
No fungus this time. No fungus. Just I might have been on some caffeine from some coffee, but I was scrolling the short form videos, and it was showing just people doing like stuff with wind manipulation and things, and it's all just perception, but it's still one of those things that's like really cool to watch. To be like the people are almost directing the wind on where to go, but it's just almost like a dance. But the people were talking about like, this stuff starts happening whenever you're a kid, and you can develop it later on and, get more in tune with it. And I was getting to thinking, I was like, hold on a damn minute. I used to do this as a kid.
Are you talking yourselves into thinking you have superpowers?
No, this is only like the 17th time in my life that this has happened, but I never act on anything. At least this one can't hurt me from trying to jump off the roof of my house to fly. Oh, what's the worst thing? He's doing Tai Chi in the yard trying to control the wind. That's fine. I'd rather him do that than try to fly again. That was really fucking weird. He scraped his chest up real good. Let me think about some other things that scared me real bad.
I
as
had
kids.
another one.
Oh, okay, what was yours?
So I used to watch the old school Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Like the cartoon from like the 70s, 80s. And there was an episode with a vampire. And I don't even remember why, but something about that vampire freaked me out enough as a kid that night, like I watched it in the morning because I watched it before I went to school, and I thought about it all day, and I thought about it all night. And I remember laying in bed and looking at my closet and thinking, what if a vampire jumped out of there? And I'm like, that's a dumb idea. Why would there be a vampire in there? But I'm like, but what if? Like, what if? And it scared me.
Well, that's the fear, is the what if.
Yeah. It's like I was logical enough. I mean, I was like 7 or 8, I think. So, like, I knew that, like, there wasn't going to be a vampire that's going to jump out at me. But, like, imagine if it did.
Well, see, okay. My father, my bio dad, was a collector of sometimes strange and mysterious things.
Is that where you get your knack for it?
Maybe. But he was also an avid beer drinker. So, one thing he would collect would be cardboard beer advertisements.
Oh, that's cool.
They were always people and usually like movie monsters. So, he had a Frankenstein, like 17 Elviras, and there was another one. I can't remember. But as a child...
Wait, 17 Elviras?
There was a lot of Elviras.
Giddy up, boom, papa, mow, mow.
I mean, I get it, but, like, dang.
Like, look, she scared me as a kid.
Really?
I think it kind of boils down to was I was afraid of girls. I think that was a lot of it. But he had them up like on one wall of his garage. It was when he bought the house, the guy that lived there like worked on semi trucks. So giant garage, right? That was his man shop. He would work on cars up there, make stuff, whatever. But it would line the back wall above this really sketchy wooden platform. And so sometimes I would like go sneak in the garage to, I don't know, get in the camper, walk around, because it was a house where there wasn't supposed to be a house. Also, there's this boat I can play in. And then all these cutouts that I was sure was going to come to life and kill me.
Dang. Yeah, that does sound like a horror thing.
Yeah.
That was the scariest thing, when you recognize something horrifying in your house, and then it's like you feel weird saying to your parents, like, "Hey, can you get rid of that?"
Yeah. Well, this was in a place that I wasn't even really supposed to be in unattended, yet there I was.
I was always afraid of the dark because of that kind of shit, like things going on around the house, and then all of a sudden it's dark, and now I'm afraid. Because that was another thing that everybody liked to do to me. They liked to wait until I was. I hope that picked up on camera, and I hope it made audio.
Kind of hurt.
I know it picked. I know it picked up on camera because it'll show you adjusting in your seat. But at least you'll be able to line it up time frame wise as to where you can spike that audio, because that was beautiful. It sounded like a trumpet of Gabriel.
That was like a comic book accurate fart right there.
It stabbed me in one cheek. It was like a spear. It was like a spear. Just.
I lost track of what I was saying because I'm back to what I was saying. So my bathroom growing up upstairs of my house, like the normal main floor, it had a bathtub, sink, toilet. It had all, but it was kind of a spacious bathroom. It was probably the size of this room in the strip mall studio right here. Honestly, for the size of the bathroom, it was a big bathroom.
That is a big
It
bathroom.
had
bathroom.
no shower. No shower.
Huh.
No shower.
Like a half bath?
No, it was.
So it was just like a
There was a
toilet and
full
a
size.
sink?
That's weird.
Yeah, full size bathtub. This house was built in 1912.
So there was a tub.
So there was a tub.
There was a tub.
Oh, I
Okay,
thought,
okay.
Tub, no shower.
I thought you were saying it was like a gas station bathroom where
No,
it's
no,
just
tub,
yeah,
no
I,
shower.
I was thinking just toilet and sink.
So tub, no shower, but there was a shower. It was a stand-up shower. But the stand-up shower was kept separate from the main bathroom because the stand-up shower was in a different part of the house. It was in the basement. So you went through the laundry room, you went to the basement, you turned on the light, you walked down the basement.
That's a horrible spot for a
Yeah.
shower,
It-
and a horrible spot for a child to take one.
So the way that you would where you'd put your towel is there was a large concrete slab that was a humongous box.
Wait a minute.
Go on.
My cousins had a house that was similar. It was one across from the fairgrounds in Cookeville. There's a white house where if you go down to the basement, there was a trap door at the bottom of the stairs where if you open it up, you would go onto a concrete slab. And when they moved into that house, there was a hospital gurney sitting on it.
The person that built the house that I lived in growing up was actually the first well established doctor to move to White County. That was there was like a surgeon and all this other stuff. So he was
Yeah.
a well renowned surgeon for the time.
So he poorly designed the house.
No, he actually had a different set of stuff that would happen in the basement, as well as what would go on. And so it wasn't, showers weren't that common to take there for people.
Autopsies.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. he would
Oh.
have to-
Yeah, because it was
that makes sense.
yeah,
it was
so-
a concrete basement, and then it had like a separate room that had like the drains and everything. Oh my God, was that why that house was there? I
Yeah.
wonder if
that's the way doctors used to do. And actually, across the street from where I grew up was a house that was a former funeral home.
My brother bought one of those.
I have to tell my cousins because we always wonder, like even as adults, we're all like, why was that there? I know now. Yeah, I remember, and that made me scared of that basement. The only time I'd go down there was with other people, and I'd only go to the one part where the video games were. I would not go to the other side because it was so dark. It terrified me.
So it was the house was built in 1912. It was a kind of a creepy situation because, I mean, yes, it was a pretty house, but it was also so old, and you can tell like things just aren't this way anymore. Like the attic had trap doors on both sides to hide,
Hide murderers.
to hide things. But literally, my brain never went into those rooms to get stuff out.
Because that's where the murderers
That's
were.
where the murderers were. Like I would, if my brothers and sisters weren't with me to go upstairs, I wouldn't go upstairs until I was like 10, 11 years old because literally the panels on the wall just could not stay closed for some reason, even though they would be perfectly closed. But for me, I was just like, I heard it move. Like I just wanted to get up there into the toy chest where they kept all the cool toys that I could shoot. But no, I had to be scared. And then, okay, so the reason that I described my creepy basement and my creepy shower stall downstairs is because my dad's favorite fucking thing in the world to do to me whenever I was a kid was wait till I got down there and started taking a shower. And as soon as he knew that I was into that shower long enough to where I couldn't just be done and he would flip that light off. and I
Oh.
would scream.
Yeah,
I
that'd
would
be awful.
I'm,
my
I'm
God,
in
I would
the-
hate that.
I'm in the autopsy basement taking a shower. I didn't know it was an autopsy basement at the time. I wouldn't even know what an autopsy was when I was that age. But if I knew that there would have been dead bodies at some point on that concrete slab that we laid our towels on, then I probably would not have reacted as easily to the idea of the lights just shutting off while I'm in the middle of the shower. He could have done that to me now as a grown-ass man, and I would probably have a heart attack.
Did they know that it was used as an autopsy place at the time?
No, probably not. Probably because they didn't investigate.
that's
They don't
funny.
need to know why there's like 2 or 3 sinks and an extra toilet in the basement that was nowhere near the bottom of the floor. The toilet was almost as high as the ceiling, and you had to walk upstairs on the opposite side of the room, and it was probably a good 1,000 square foot basement room with a concrete floor.
I don't understand that one.
I don't either. You'd have to go there and look at it, but the people that own the house now, I think, have probably renovated and stuff because my parents didn't do that kind of stuff. It was
I believe it. It'd be kind of cool.
the only thing I
History.
remember my parents changed about it was they changed it from shag carpet, brown shag carpet, to Berber carpet all over so it was like that tight compressed, so it sounded less like gravels when my mom had to vacuum up my bedroom.
So my brother bought his first house that he bought was, I believe it was in White County before he moved to Indiana. Was a former funeral home, so it had like the cold drawers. So he moved his mother in with him because she was having some health related things, and it just kind of helped everyone out. And every time they went downstairs to where the drawers were, where you kept your friends, there would always be one open.
Ooh, I would
like every
vacate the
time.
residence.
Do what?
I would vacate the residence. I would no longer be in that area.
I mean, like, things like that don't bother me. I slept in one night just because that's the kind of person I am.
And what was this exactly again?
It was an old funeral home.
So that was like a morgue slab?
No, it was like the drawers that they had put the bodies in, like
the,
in between
the refrigerator.
Yeah, like the refrigerator things.
A morgue slab.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Like it's a rolling.
It's a
thing.
It
refrigerated
was like
tray.
a filing cabinet, but for people.
It's a refrigerated tray.
It wasn't refrigerated anymore.
Well, it was a refrigerator.
It was.
at one
It
point.
was. Yeah, at one point I slept with it open. By the way,
Oh, okay. I was about to
'Cause
say
I would have flipped out as just being shut.
I
Too
did.
tight.
I did an hour's isolation in the morgue at the Louisville. What is it? Sanatorium. What was it called? Waverly Hills. Did an hour in the slab on the morgue there, shoved in for isolation. I wouldn't do that for just fun as a kid.
Well, no, I was an adult.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you just go down there and you're like, all right,
I did.
I'm gonna go sleep in the
They were
slab.
terrified of being down there. I was like, you have this big drawer you can put like your tools and craft and stuff and all kinds of stuff. It's like a desk and stuff built in. That was my thought. So I opened the middle one and I slept on it just to prove that I was a man. And then I woke up the next morning and one of them was halfway open like it always was. And I pushed it shut. And then it opened again. And then I pushed it shut. And then it opened again. And then I investigated the track. The track was fine. And I was like, that's weird. And then I went upstairs and, just was like, hey, I'm alive.
Yep, that's I didn't learn about my house growing up being the house that it was, and having the driveway the way that it was to the basement of the house, because the basement of the house also had an exit out the basement of the house.
Yeah, that's how my cousin's was. There's like a stairway out, and then like a little parking thing out there.
Yep, and then the thing is though, when you pulled out of the driveway to the bottom driveway to my house, the driveway almost directly connected to the old funeral homes.
So kind of funny, kind of along the same lines. So it was either one of my sister's, not my sister, one of my mother's brothers, or one of her uncles. He worked for a funeral home, but he was a transporter, don't look in the package style. And he would, because back in the day, they didn't fly people on planes. They had somebody in a car drive them 3 states away. So what do you think they do with the bodies at night? they wheel him in the hotel room with them. So if he was going like from Tennessee to California and he made 3 nightly stops, because they wouldn't always be in caskets. Some of them would be strapped down on gurneys. And so he would have to get the body, wheel it in the hotel room, and put it over there and sleep, wake up in the morning, wheel that person back into the hearse, and off they would go.
Hell no.
No. To the
Hell to the
no. Hell no.
Hell to the
No.
Okay,
Apparently, hold on. And apparently one of his favorite things would be like to stop at a Sonic or a drive-through, especially if he had a passenger, because they was allowed to, take somebody with them, like a trucker if they wanted. So he took his wife with him, and they stopped at a Sonic one time, and she was like, "Don't you think it's a little weird and like maybe disrespectful to like stop at a Sonic with a person in the back?" And he was like, "Well, I can ask if they want anything." And be like, "Nah," she said she ain't hungry.
Dang. I mean, depending on how much money I'm getting paid, I would have to be getting substantially helped out to do something like that.
He was paid well enough that he did that until he retired. So
I think clowns scared me more as an adult, or scare me more as an adult than they scared me as a kid. I think that's become inverse because the clown was scary, and it did make me have some I get to middle school, I take PE for the first semester because I'm not in band yet, and then a couple of weeks of PE later I realize, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be in band, right? So but having to get ready, and you got to change in the locker room and all that other shit, so and every damn thing. It's you gotta. So the only thing that young me brain was thinking though when I got into that shower room was like, there's those fucking drains. There's those damn drains. If a balloon comes out of those drains, I am out of here.
yeah, see, as a
That's
young
the
man,
worst. That was the worst of it though for me. But it changed into something else later.
Yeah, it did scare me, but it didn't make me afraid of clowns because that was a murderous clown, not a regular clown.
And a thing that actually made me afraid of clowns was later on, after I'd already had a pre-established kind of like wariness of them because of that. I was already wary of the clowns at this point. Like, I know that you're not all bad because I've been entertained by you before, and this is you're great at. But there's something about these mean ones that I don't quite. I'm gonna have to keep you all at arm's length. And then across my studies, as a young weird kid. Here's John Wayne Gacy. Okay. So now I have an established fear of the fact that
now
these
you
people
have a
are
good reason to be afraid.
These people are now. Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem you're going to run into, guys and gals, and those that are non-gender proclamatory pronouns. You don't have to worry about this. Just remember this: Tennessee, where we live, is a stand your ground state, I believe. Correct? Is it not?
We have castle law.
Castle law. Okay. Well, castle law being also to protect yourself in a reasonable assumption that you are in. You have
the right to protect yourself or somebody else if there is a risk of death or grave bodily
You're
injury.
only allowed to exert the amount of force on them that they are exerting on you. You
No. You can delete their save.
Well, as in,
if you're in fear of you or somebody
that.
around you dying or becoming gravely injured.
Yes, defense of a third party, or defense of yourself whenever it is a life or death or a grievous bodily harm.
So,
death. Anyway,
if a clown is coming at you,
that's what I'm saying.
A clown's running at you with a hatchet, shoot his ass.
you can use your cordless hole puncher to aerate the situation.
There's always these things and
Bodies
these videos.
don't like extra holes, so give them a few.
There's always these videos that go around every year around Halloween of the clowns and the people dressing up as the clowns.
Oh yeah, where they run at people with a fucking sledgehammer like a dipshit.
That's
Yes.
asking for something to
Now,
happen.
now you can tell that these sumbitches ain't doing this in some place in Tennessee
There
because
was one that did.
and they found out, didn't they?
They fucked around. They got so close to finding out. The person was so scared that they missed, which saved that person's life because then that clown person vacated the scene very quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if this isn't the movies. This isn't GTA. Like,
No.
if you run at somebody and if I see someone running at me, it doesn't matter what they're wearing,
Yeah.
but with a weapon, I'm automatically like, oh, they're using that at me.
Exactly.
Much less it is
and you're perfectly within the right to defend yourself.
And,
Right.
and I've talked to people about this before, and I know lots of people. I know people all the way up to federal level of things. This is kind of funny, but it's like the people that I talked about this. I say it as a funny scenario, but I also say it as a serious scenario because you never know when you're going to get hit with this stuff, and I don't want to accidentally take somebody's life when it's not needed.
No.
But I will let you know my fight or flight response will be as such. If I feel as if like somebody is about to murder me with that hammer, they gonna be finding murder first, but it comes from me. If you're gonna murder me, I'm gonna murder you back quicker. Like that's the idea for my brain.
There was one particular incident that I can remember to where a giant clown was hiding in your bedroom.
Tiny,
And
that was enough of a time for me to know that this giant clown was you in clown makeup, but the fear of there still being a clown in my bedroom
one of the funniest.
sitting in the dark chilled me.
I sat there for like 15 minutes too.
And and it serves you right that you got pulled over that night wearing your full clown makeup.
It's still funny, and I would do it again.
What did the officer say to you? I forget about that.
Well, at first he said, "You look like one of them ICPs," and I was like, "Well, that's kind of what I was going for, but not in any kind of weird way." I was like, one of my buddies, I was like, I got a podcast. It's a 4, now 3 best friends. We talk about nerdy stuff, and like ICP was on the menu to be talked about. I had some face paint from where I did a Captain Spaulding event, and now you pulled me over shirtless. So I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to do this to you, officer, but now you've got
Yeah.
something to tell your
Well,
friends.
see, it was also one of those things that I'm watching him come to the car, and I'm going, oh, no. So about the time I can see his belt buckle in my side mirror, I was like, I got to tell him. I was like, hey, man, I look ridiculous. Just so you know, please don't hold it against me. I'm not on drugs.
And
He went, what?
he said, "Huh?" It's this is what an evening. God, and it was a close to my house cop too, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was right at the curve, right off Quinlan Lake.
Oh, then that is, there's about a 45% chance that I worked with the person that pulled you over. That's the way it goes at the department
maybe.
there. Well, at the department there, that's just the way that it goes. Because
I thought you worked at, like, White County.
They don't stay there.
Well, that's true.
They go to other places where they can get better pay for less work.
Well, yeah.
So they go to All Good City Police. That's not a bad gig. Anyway,
You just have to be a cop.
no, I mean, besides that, to each their own. Not for me. Tried it once. Didn't
Not
like
for
it
me,
too
but
much.
for thee.
Something that scared me really bad as a kid that I don't respond that same way to it anymore is Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger used to be an adamant problem in my dreams because he was a dream killer. He not like the way that a bad girlfriend is, but like the way that like he would kill you in your sleep. Oh, actually, that would actually count as a bad girlfriend too, but that's a different documentary.
Hold on. Okay, I was having to think about it for a sec.
Okay, did you register?
No, I understood what you were saying, but I was thinking of the implications.
Yes. Okay. Well,
I mean, I was just kind of imagining like an older, angry avocado having sex with a younger avocado. And how that could make Deadpool.
That's true.
That's kind of where my brain squirreled off to.
That is Freddy.
It was
Freddy
not
Krueger.
a pleasant image in my head.
Freddy Krueger was always like a really good, well done, like scary looking villain as far as that goes. But he was always whimsical and slapstick enough that as an adult, I look back and watch the movies and they're chuckle fests. Like you almost root for Freddy because of the stupidity of the people that he's actually going after.
That's how I felt with the Friday the 13th. After we watched Friday
Jason
the
X?
Yeah, Jason X.
the best movie ever made.
Last year, was it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. Me and the wife got on like a little kick where we were watching them. I think we made it to like 3, and I'm like, oh, these aren't scary. I'm rooting for Jason because he's the guy, and like it's funny to see the wacky situation these people running into to get killed. Like, I enjoy it now, but as a child, I was absolutely terrified.
Hey, do you want to have premarital sex?
My favorite
Lock in a sock. Lock in a sock.
one of my 3 favorite things to happen in movies. My 3 favorite that get me every time: the lock in the sock or the beating a motherfucker with a motherfucker. Love that. Guy with a big
That was
F.
both in one.
Yeah. The guy with a big F off sword. Love that trope. And the I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Like, if that's in any movies, that was
all 4 of those were in Jason X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it hit every spot where I was like, I don't care how bad this movie is. I love it, and it is art.
You think that blade's gonna be enough to end this old dog? Shink. Oh,
That'll do it.
that'll do it.
That oh my god, that
was so
got
good.
me.
That'll do it.
That got me so hard. That was like I couldn't even imagine like
Some
you
of
were
the
doing
writing
that.
choices of that movie was just questionable at best.
You could tell they did not care. They
Like
did
the-
not take anything seriously.
Like
They
the
knew
nipple
what they were.
pliers and
Do you want to do another Grapevine viewing of a classic horror that would
We
be?
need to find
we
like,
could.
We could do
I-
Leprechaun in space.
or
Ooh,
I have.
I think I own both of them.
I have all the Sharknadoes
No,
too, so
there
we
was
can
only
watch
one
like
in space,
Sharknado
sorry.
6.
No, we did Jason in space last year. I want to do another one in space this year.
Well, I've got the first 4 Leprechaun movies, but I don't have In the Hood 1 and 2.
That's fine. All I need is Leprechaun in space.
Do you have a DVD player?
I have a no.
I can put it on a thumb drive.
Okay, then we can make it happen, Captain.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Freddy Krueger is though with me, it's just the look, like that general like you shouldn't be alive yet you're still happening.
Yeah, the crusty old ball sack. Or the somehow moist old ball sack.
Yeah, somehow moist, crusty old balls.
Yeah, it was both moist and crusty.
Yeah, it reminds me of Jamie's legs.
Yeah. God.
How are you too wet and too dry? Pick a struggle.
We got a buddy Jamie who's
Big Red Angie.
Big Red Angie.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, he's got like
Driest legs in the West,
Like,
boy.
if he
His
forget-
skin is like paper that's not quite set to be paper. It's just dusty. He's the dustiest white man I've ever seen. I was like, have you tried experimenting with this thing called water? It's 2 in the H, 1 in the O. Put it in you. And he's like, no, I don't drink that shit.
I don't like water.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like water per se, but I will drink it medicinally. I know I need X amount
I don't
per
know.
day.
I've got to where I kind of just like water.
If I could choose Dr. Pepper or water, Dr. Pepper's going to win every time. But if it's for the sake of my well-being, I know that water has to be the option.
It depends how thirsty I am. If I'm real thirsty, I just want water, bro. But if I'm just like a little, it's not peckish, but I think peaked. If I'm a little that, and I just need a little splash, sure.
Okay, here's a scenario for you. If you're, let's go Dr. Pepper or water. Okay, we'll set up scenarios. You're at a,
Okay.
You're at a ballpark.
As a fan or as a participant in the activity.
We're fans.
Okay, but like, are
How
we just
hot
sitting
is
in the
it?
stands? Am I eating something? I need more context here, bro.
Yeah. Is it middle of the summer,
Yeah.
or is the season almost over with?
Like, the reason I would grab a Dr. Pepper, if I am sitting down eating my $12 hot dog, I would want a nice Dr. Pepper with that.
I'm just gonna drink a Dr.
But-
Pepper if I'm at a ballpark.
If I'm
That's just
sitting,
my code.
If I'm sitting down in the stands and just kind of hanging out, I'm probably gonna be drinking some water.
That's just a code of mine. If I go to a ballpark, I gotta get a Dr. Pepper. Funny thing is, though, you get to some ballparks and they've only got like fountain drinks you can get, and you got to go with the fountain drinks,
and they're always flat.
and it's always Pepsi.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Pepper is made by Coke and Pepsi.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. like you can license
It's
to
the
both.
bridge.
Yeah.
It's the day walker, if you would.
yeah.
Yep.
But I thoroughly enjoy me some Dr. Pepper.
I do love some Dr. Pepper. We actually started getting the Dr. Pepper Zero Sugars in my house because
That's my
Revisit
go-to.
that.
we now that I have changed employment venues and can afford things, we have been getting more like sodas and stuff because we can enjoy things. And then I realized like I'm feeling real bloated and real like icky. I was like, I should probably drink. If I'm going to drink like 4 sodas a day, I should at least make them diet and then work on getting it down, you know?
See, I've transitioned to mainly spicy water. I even bought a spicy water manufacturing unit. So it just lives on my counter, and I stick a bottle of tap water on there, and I go
Wait, you
until it farts.
do
best thing I've
that
ever
to
bought.
Cookeville tap water with the fluoride
And the sulfur?
and the lead?
Do you realize how many bottles of bottled water I would go through
I
doing
know,
that?
but like get like a filter.
I didn't say I didn't have a filter, but it's still tap
okay.
water.
Okay,
We skipped a
I
step. We
thought
skipped a step.
I thought you were just filling up the
I was
thing
just
from
hitting,
the
I was
kitchen
hitting the
sink.
important parts. I've done that.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in this week. We, as I said, we are taking a soft step into the well, I don't know if I said
The
it.
spooky
Shit.
season.
Yeah, a soft step into spooky season. I don't know if I said it. It might have been the other Austin that said it. It might have been Otto that said it. Hell, it's been an
I
entire
think we
hour.
all said it.
Everybody say it. Soft step into spooky season.
Soft
We're
step
slowly
into
sliding into
season.
spooky season.
You
We're
were close.
foreplaying the spooky season.
You were close.
We're tapping around it before we get in there.
Yeah.
Right, you got to get it primed and ready. You can't just go in too fast.
It was a sensual massage of the outer area surrounding spooky season.
We're doing
So
the back
welcome
rub
to,
of October.
You know, we did some interaural penetration.
I feel like now this is like we're doing the back rub. You know, we're getting
Yeah.
in there.